Good day and welcome. So we're just going to give everyone a few minutes to join. good day. I trust everyone is well. So today's session, as discussed, will be very focused on the meta side. So before we begin, um, just to wrap up yesterday's session, there was quite an important question in the chat about monetization. So thank you for that question. What we'll do is cover that section tomorrow, so we can obviously give that landscape of how one can monetize, right? So they there are different options obviously to make money online, so it is quite a valid point to bring out, so we'll cover that tomorrow. And then in terms of the LinkedIn, we had said we'll come back to the connections. So what we'll do is drop a link just to show you in terms of getting your followers for your business, right? So that link will take you through what you would have to then do to gain followers. However, before you have your page followers or invite your connections, you will have to have connections personally, right? So in other words, when you have your personal page, and it's all set up and your profile is filled in, 150% filled in, now you'll be ready to engage, right? So you invite relevant connections, connect perhaps just to show you, right? We can go through that part quickly so that just to give context, okay? So for those that are new on LinkedIn and they've just set up their pages, I just want us to get to, okay, the personal profile. So I'll share the screen now. Okay, so when you're on your personal profile, for you to build your following, right, or your connections, your network, because as you have your network, then you're able to then invite them onto the page. So in other words, your personal brand becomes very important for the business, right? As we've spoken. So you would then say, okay, let's say, like we mentioned, we're looking for perhaps the CTO, right? Chief Technology Officer. Let's see what comes up, because those are people that are in the space that you would want to supply, okay? Maybe technology solutions to big companies. So you would then search for those people, right? As you can see, you can search within posts, groups, but then you'll have options come up. Okay, so let's say when it comes to people in the CTO space, you then want to see, okay, so you could possibly then invite um, the CTO of Curo, have a look at those that might then be relevant for you, founder and CTO. Okay, so just as an example, I'm going to choose one to connect with. Okay, so you'll see that you'll have an option, right, to add a note or to send without a note. It's always best to add a note, right, so that you are now creating that personal connection. So you have options, 5 personalized invitations remaining. Okay, so if obviously you are sending out personal invitations and adding a note, there will be a limit, because LinkedIn would want you to, be premium to have full access. But it is advisable to then have a note. You don't have to have a note. Okay, so let's say we had to create a note. Just say, um, hi, Mr. Leonard. Okay. Um, Thank you for your consideration to connect. So you'll probably then just explain a bit to say, I am new on this platform and would like to follow and learn more about the industry. Okay, so um, let's say now you want to position yourself, right, as an authority, because this is if you are new on LinkedIn. Okay, so if you're not new on LinkedIn, please take that opportunity to, position yourself in an authoritative way, right? So you wouldn't send a message like this because you've got followers, you've got a strong profile. So it would be, hi Leonard, um, thank you for connecting, because they will pretty much, uh, accept your connection, right? So this is how I'd suggest you position yourself. Thank you for connecting. We are a, an ICT provider, okay, provider in the township, and would like to find out if we could engage, let's say, on possibilities, right, in supplying um, your tech, possibly your, in supplying you, let's say, in supplying you with tech solutions. Okay, so this is just an example, just to say that when you have your profile, it obviously doesn't end there. You have to connect. So as you build your network, then you're able to go to your business page and then follow the link that's in the chat, to then gain your followers for the business page. Okay, so if I wanted to obviously connect with them, I would then press send, and then let me press send. And then you can have a look and see, like, essentially it will invite him and he would then respond in that fashion. Okay, so please can you follow this, because you have to then have your followers on your page for your LinkedIn business, right? Business presence. Okay, so now we're completely done with LinkedIn. We are back into meta session. So I will now share today's today's material, today's presentation. So social media for business in the meta sense. Okay, as mentioned, you do have you will have this material, so you will go through it. You'll have it on file. You can always reference it. So some of the slides will skip through so that we able to have, let me just do that. So we're able to have a, just please hold on. So we're able to go through this quite quickly and get to our Canva, right, session and our practical session to create the posts. So just an introduction again on the landscape. Okay, there are a lot of people on this planet, right? And over a half of the population is on social media. So this is obviously increasing, right? And as you can see with the stats, this increase is, I mean, almost everyone will be on social media at a certain point very quickly. So it's absolutely imperative to be on social media. It's a must, and for you to conduct your business on social media is unquestionable, right? So social media will obviously help you build the loyalty with current customers and obviously the new ones. So in this digital space, you have to build up your word of mouth, right? Because that's a great way of actually marketing. It's one of the most powerful ways. So think about it as physically, one would say, "Oh, do you know of this company or this person, just contact them. So now imagine that on a social media sphere, because on social media, essentially, it's not about the person that knows you because they physically met you, but it's someone that could be sitting across the country and know about you, right? So having that word of mouth at scale. So businesses obviously need to be online, they need to have a presence because there's an opportunity to leverage this digital space for overall business marketing. So the key is to figure out which platform, as we've spoken about yesterday, which platform is best, right? We can see that there are all these that we've discussed yesterday, your X, your Pinterest, Snapchat, right, and the Meta platforms, as well as LinkedIn, YouTube as well, being a social media platform. Um, so it's about how you maximize, right? So it would be great to know which one is your favorite. Just drop it in the chat. Which is your favorite social media platform? Okay, so now we zoom straight into Facebook. Please go through the material. You'll see that they make media sharing networks like Instagram, Snapchat, and YouTube, discussion forums, you know, bookmarking and content creation networks, as well as publishing and blogging networks, right? And this obviously helps to have your content on your website and obviously drive it from social to the site. So just to touch on this part, because it is quite important just to understand in relation to the site. So what is off-page search engine optimization? Because we will mention it down the line. So anything that's taking place outside of your website, right, and contributing to the ranking online is considered off-site SEO. So social media can boost the off-page SEO. Um, so in other words, all these platforms become very important to then drive the traffic, right? So the words you use, those become keywords, right? Off-page search engine optimization, essentially. So on-page SEO techniques can refer to loads of things, and it includes optimization. And obviously, you've gone through that on the website side of the sessions, so we won't go into that detail, but that's essentially the relationship between off-page and on page, right? So the activities you do outside of the boundaries of your website, anything that contributes to your ranking is considered off-site. So the social media marketing, influencer marketing, direct and indirect blogging, right? So it helps with the search engine optimization, and it gives a glimpse of how people and digital entities across the globe can read your website features. Okay, so it aligns with words like link building or promotion activities, but the whole gist of it, it's is not really about the links, right? It's about the words, right? Better off SEO techniques means you're basically proving to your readers that search engine, like your site is trustworthy. So bringing them to your site because you've got the content, you're being recognized by Google, you're being recognized by the platforms, and you're being ranked, right? So you even see when you're on LinkedIn and you actually publishing your posts, or you obviously optimizing on your content when it comes to your bio, descriptions as well as your captions, right? That you actually pop up in searches, right? So I'm sure you got to see it yesterday, even though we didn't touch on it. It you'll then see the analytics where it actually says that you appeared in 18 searches this week because people would have typed marketing and then you pop up because of how much you contribute, right? Even at this point, LinkedIn approaches certain content creators to contribute to certain blog pieces and now you have a voice of authority because LinkedIn is asking you to contribute to the content that's now being shared, right? Across like different people around the world, right? So it becomes very, very important the words you use and how you contribute to social media when it comes to content creation. Okay, so um, now we not going to practically go into how you create, you know, your Facebook page or your Instagram page because essentially what's here is self-explanatory and I'm sure you know. So we'll go through it in theory, right? And then in practice, we'll essentially go straight into creating the posts. Okay. So now how to use Facebook for business. Okay. I see people like TikTok and WhatsApp. There's a lot of TikTokers. All right. Thank you for the comments in the chat. Okay. So Facebook for business. These pages are primarily used to promote the business, right? Or as a public figure, in other words, an influencer, right? Brand, or product or non-profit organization, co-op in the sense, right? So to add or start a business page, you create a page. So you click on create a page, the icon. It's at the bottom of the profile, Facebook profile. You will then be directed to the screen where you select the type of page you would like to set up, right? Is it a business, product or brand, artist? You know, because then they're optimized differently. Okay, and they also suggestions that are quite different to the category that you choose. So you then select obviously business, right, or brand. So you would then be prompted to enter specific information about yourself or the business or the cause. So this is the best way to introduce your off-page SEO keywords that we've just mentioned in the bio and the business description. So please take this part quite seriously, as much as it's a really small section where you can put your words, but it becomes quite important when people are searching to then find you if they searching, let's say, marketing or technology or ICT services, you know. So please, as much as it's just a short piece, every word matters, right? So use keywords that are specific to your business in your bio, okay, including the business name, your domain, the industry keywords, right? So make sure that your description has the keywords in there in the bio. Okay. So once you agree on the Facebook to the Facebook terms, you'll then be directed to a new Facebook page for further customization. Okay, so you'll see familiar processes where you get to be directed to fill in and complete your profile, like the logo, the business hours, the contact details, right? And then from there, you can then invite your friends because you, I'm sure, have Facebook, right? And you've got friends. So that's the first part to invite your friends to your Facebook page so that you can start having a following on you business page. So same way we've done it on the LinkedIn side, you do it on the Facebook side because your personal profile, you know, then translates into business, right? So Facebook page for your business. Now, we've spoken about inviting your network, right? As well as offline network to like your page. So offline network can be the people in your community, right? In and around like we said that you know when it comes to Facebook these days, as you meet someone, you literally just get to see them online. So you should be talking about your page, like, hey, follow, you know, or let's connect on Facebook. So it builds your online presence. As much as you speak to them on WhatsApp, bring them on your platforms, okay, so that they can see your business, interact, because these are your you could say your legs in, you know, branches that are able to be the word of mouth for you, right? Let's say, oh, I actually know someone who does this, so they may not be the customer, but they can literally advocate for you. So it becomes important to bring them into the business space even though you're personally connected, right? So that's why. Facebook is an important marketing tool for your business. Um, as much as we think obviously Facebook is more like a casual space, it is quite important still to be on Facebook for business, right? So here are the tips just to make a better use of the platform. So, as one of the most visited website in the world, Facebook is very much a tool for business owners who want to engage with customers and attract new ones. Okay, so the core proper Facebook utilization involves curating and creating content. So we spoke about curating being taking content and putting it together, right, in different forms, and then creating, obviously, is creating from scratch, and then that appeals to your audience. Okay, so it's very much about that. So Facebook offers multiple tools for promotion, and you should consider using all of them. So every business should be on social media, especially Facebook and what we've already mentioned. So in other words, today's task would be for you to be on both platforms. Okay, so Facebook and Instagram, your business should have Facebook and an Instagram page. Okay, so from its powerful advertisement options to Facebook groups, Facebook has many tools, right, that can be of use. So this helps you engage with potential customers and obviously grow your business. So you can create content like we will after when we're done. So obviously writing amazing content is key. So posting a variety of content, photos, videos, reels in the sense. You've even got notes now. Facebook also has a feature now where you can put your thoughts and it's like almost like a status for 24 hours. So use everything that's there, right? You're more likely to entertain and engage your audience. So it's also very important to understand that when you're communicating, are you entertaining or are you informing? So informing doesn't also have to be very serious, as in news. Did you know? It can also be, this is what we're doing, this is what we're up to. So as you're doing your practicals, you know that you can be taking content along the way, right? Using that content to say, okay, so this is what we're doing today. We building a solar panel. So as you go through the whole entire process, use every opportunity to build the content. So now, as we go through this section and we eventually get to a point where we build a plan, it becomes important to populate that plan with the content that you'll be creating along the journey. Because storytelling is very important when it comes to social media. So start building the story now. So ending every post with the question is also a great way to engage, but obviously you would need to have an audience by that time. So if you're going to ask questions, make sure that you've built the audience so that it's a two-way communication. As you ask the questions, you receive the response. You get to gauge the engagement, right? So using contests is in moderation, obviously, allowing just like competitions, if you want, if you like, we'll actually go more into it in the next section, but using competitions and contests is a great way to also get customers or potential customers to engage because people like freebies. um, so you can obviously word it well and then attract them in that way. So how to use Facebook for your business? Start a Facebook group. Okay, so building your community around the product or the service or brand can be really, really an excellent way to actually have that engagement and have your customers on a one-on-one level, right? So these groups can be related to the business, right? They can be hand in hand with the industry or just help you organize around like what you believe or what you're solving for, right? It can be on an industry level, it can be on, let's say, the township level. I see there's some Sowetan's here that are making themselves known here. So you can actually build it around that. Maybe like uh tech, so tech in Soweto or Katlehong, so literally it can be geographical, it can be industry wise, it can be around your business itself, right? But obviously make it relevant for the people as well, as much as it's relevant for your business. So, as an example here, a marketing agency, you may want to create a Facebook page centered around businesses in asking answering marketing questions or women-owned business, right? Women-owned businesses can come on and you'll have female founders and share content in that way. But since you all mixed, yeah, you'll then decide what type of Facebook group you'll create that's inclusive, right? And making sure that it's centered around the brand. Okay. So creating a plan, this is what we'll go into at like the last stage, because essentially before you start posting, you need to have the plan. So deciding on what to post, when to post should be, an overall strategy that we'll go into tomorrow, right? Together with understanding the content monetization side, but essentially we'll be going through the strategic approach and having a strategic plan at the end of the day. Okay, so that we can then have a content calendar, organize these materials in even if it's an idea format, right? Then we able to plot it in so that you understand that, oh, okay, there's Tech Tuesdays, there's Women Wednesdays, there's um think tank Thursdays, there's flashback Fridays, what are we saying each day, right? You also don't have to post every day, or you don't even have to post for the sake of posting because it's a new day. You have to be very intentional. So you can plan out your calendar to understand that, okay, when we're communicating on Monday, like we have like hashtag marketing Mondays. So if there's anything that we want to communicate on Monday, we leverage off the marketing Monday, because as a marketing agency, it relates, right? So you'll then come up with those type of strategies that are able to help you organize your content and know when to post what. Obviously, be very mindful of the current times, right? Because sometimes you'll schedule a post on, let's say, a hashtag Women's Wednesday, and something very important is happening on that day. So be very mindful that you've planned the calendar, then just understand what's going on in the current sense, right? Because if maybe, something sensitive has happened that day, you would have to obviously adjust a bit, either the content or maybe hold off the content a bit, because the news for today is, or the mood for today is serious, right? So be very sensitive when it comes to scheduling. But obviously scheduling is very important, and you can use tools like Hootsuite, you can use Canva, you can even use the platforms themselves, because now platforms allow you to schedule, right? So you can do it directly there. But just in terms of the content calendar, it's always great to plan ahead, right? So you can even do it week by week, right? Ideally, it'd be great to know how the month looks like, but then it's okay to know how this week looks like, next week, and then plan out your content knowing that we've collected content based on this week's practicals, or we now have customers and we know that, okay, since we're servicing 10 customers, that means we've got content for good 10 days, right? And how do you spread those days out? It doesn't have to be Monday to Friday. It can be every Tech Tuesday. Now you sorted for 10 weeks of that particular day, right? Which is the hashtag of Tech Tuesday, for example. So the plan becomes um, that dynamic, in a sense that just be intentional, understand what the content would be about, and then spread it out. Okay. So I just wanted to say with the last point, make sure to also consider holidays, right? So if let's say it's Heritage Day, what are you doing as a team? Maybe you could all dress up and take a photo, and then share that your heritage or post about what it means to you, right? Some people in the township are born in the township, right? So what does that mean? What is that heritage, or what's the company heritage? So you can bring it home, you can curate according to whatever it is that you guys discuss, but understand that okay, we've got a calendar, there are these holidays, do we leverage off them, do we not, do we participate on youth day, how do we do that, and plan ahead. So um yeah, just to mention that part. Okay, so Facebook features, not just pages that we can make use of. Um, they are five, right? Okay, so these parts actually, we'll go into the next ones after. But let's just discuss these ones. So the new Facebook features that are rolled out regularly all the time, as they change their algorithms, right? So it's always good to know that, okay, even if we discuss this today, there might be something next week. As you've seen, like Elon Musk now launched glasses, right? Virtual glasses, and there's so much that you can do with them. So there's always something new that's happening on social. So just always keep up to date with the new features. So going live on air to engage with your audience in real time is one of the features that you can use. And I'm sure you know this. So obviously your followers will receive the notification that you're live. So you can then make, and also the recording is available. So even if they don't tune in at that time, it will then be available. It can be available for like 30 days after that, so you can use that to interview guests, in other words, customers probably, right? Demonstrates how the product is used. This would be like a great way to show like how you fix the phone. That's very interesting, right? Showcase an event that you're probably exhibiting at, right? So that's a lovely, like a whole day's worth of content, because I'm sure there's master classes, there's speakers, there a whole lot of different people showcasing on that day. So that's just a whole day of content, right? If you're exhibiting, for example. Okay, so Facebook video consumption is obviously high, and that's why today we'll focus on Reels so that we can be part of that video consumption, right that bandwagon. So especially, yeah, it's obviously on the rise, right? 85% of businesses are utilizing video content as a marketing tool. So definitely let's jump on that, and to make sure that we're creating branded content, right? So that as it's shared, then they're able to identify that it belongs to you as the business and the brand. Okay, so the stories, these are also very powerful in a sense that they keep you top of mind. So sometimes you can post and it's not exactly on someone's feed, but with the stories, you're always popping up, and your followers they get to see what's going on for the day, or what you want to communicate for the day. It doesn't have to be current. It can be product specific, or maybe a special you want to take out, or something that you did before and you want to share now. So stories become important just to keep you relevant, to say we're still here, right? So these content ideas, um, tomorrow we will expand on them, right, and create a strategic approach using them. So I'm going to skip through this section and then we'll come back to it tomorrow, where we integrate it with ChatGPT and then create an overall strategy. Well, a strategic plan, because the strategy takes more time than just an hour, right? So now we're not going to take a break. We'll just go straight into Instagram. Okay, so we good. We're all good so far, right? Um, Now Instagram. This social media platform is obviously all about photos and videos, right? So it's not like Facebook where you can also put just text and, blog or notes, right? So it's about the visual. So you can take, edit, and publish visual content for your followers to interact with, right? Like, share, comment. It's such a great platform for just looking at other brands and seeing what they're doing. Here we've got an example with Nike using their story features just to show inspirational athlete stories, that you wouldn't really see anywhere, right? So, I mean, 1,000 photos being shared every second, that's a lot of content, right? So it is predominantly a photo sharing platform, but they are really optimizing the videos. So that's what we want to concentrate on. So how to promote your business on Instagram? Um, Essentially, just first, obviously, sign up. And I'm not going to go too much into detail with this, but you download the app, right? You sign up, create an account, you enter your email address, your phone number, okay? And then alternatively, you can sign up using the Facebook account, right? And then in that way, then they connected. Okay, so then as they connect, obviously it's easier to then cross post, whether you're posting from Facebook to Instagram or from Instagram going to Facebook. But in this sense, you end up using the Meta Business Suite because your pages will now be linked. So as you post, then it just goes both on Facebook and Instagram, right? So your Meta Business Suite becomes an important app, which is separate to a Facebook and an Instagram app, right? Um, there are features that you can do directly on Instagram that you can't necessarily do on the other platform. So you'll just have to obviously see and leverage off the different ways in which you publish your platform. I mean your content, right? Because for example, if you publish your story, you need to be able to have music options. So if you do it through Instagram, it gives you that option. But if you do it through Meta, for example, you might only have music option for Facebook. So you have to explore the three different apps and how it is that you can actually optimize your content as you share it, right? So have a look at all three, but the business management, it helps you manage everything in one place. So you're able to see what's going on with your Facebook inbox and your Instagram inbox and all comments in one place, which obviously helps in with your admin, right? So if you've got one person that's sitting and managing the Facebook page in the business, right, then it helps them instead of looking at two different platforms all the time and responding on two different platforms. Now you've got one inbox that goes across, and then you're able to actually respond to comments, respond to both the DMs and inbox at the same time, right? So it becomes quite an effective tool. So if you register Facebook, you'll need to log into your Facebook. If you register with Facebook, then you'll have to log into your Facebook account, and then obviously connect the accounts. Okay, so you'll have this presentation to go through if you want to obviously understand step by step, but I'm sure everyone is probably, I want to assume everyone's got Facebook because I think millennials have um, an Instagram sort of approach. So please go through the notes if you need to. Okay, so now how to use Instagram for your business. Step one, set your goals. Okay, so before you start posting, ask yourself why you're on Instagram. As popular as the platform is, why should you be on it? Okay, so it's basically just set a purpose, to set a goal, to know why you're doing it. It has to be worth it, right? So everyone will have the different answers. whether it's for followers or you want to uh, promote your product or you want to be an influencer. Like, there are no rules, as we said. So it's just to understand why. You can't just do something for the sake of doing it or because you're told to, right? So it's understanding why are we going to be on this platform, because that directs the type of content you generate. Okay, so maybe you'd like to use Instagram to share user-generated content. Some people just share other people's content and they become like a place where content is curated. You know, you might want to use it almost like a mood board or an announcement board or like a themed, whatever the reason, just obviously to have that goal, right? Um, Let's see. Okay, we've already spoken about being able to share your posts across, so you can obviously extend it to other platforms too, right? So it's really less about the type of posts you share and more about why you're sharing them, because your why will obviously drive everything else, right? Um, you're then able to measure your performance and know the analytics behind every effort that you make, right, on these tools, the platforms. So determine your Instagram target audience. We've already spoken about targeting, right? So you need to know who you want to reach before you begin marketing, right? Who are you speaking to? So if you have other marketing strategies in place, then draw from those, right? So we can have it consistent. So if you know that, okay, on Instagram and Facebook, this is the approach, just keep it constant so that even if you are speaking to a younger group on Instagram, um, if they, let's say, graduate to LinkedIn, there's that consistency of, oh, this is what the brand is about. You're not now something different on LinkedIn. You have different whys there or beliefs. You keep the brand consistent, right? So monitor popular events. If you don't really know where to start, you can see what other businesses are doing, right? See which hashtags are popular, or that you can ride on, right? Have a look at basically what the market is doing. So you can start from there and draw inspiration from there, right? So it really makes it easy to define the audience. But if you don't know where to start, just see what other similar brands are doing that are in the space, right? So this is about the market analysis, well, which is just what we spoke about now. So I'm going to pretty much skip this part because it's really about looking at the market, seeing what they're doing, right? See the engagement, and then it's also part of the strategy because you would do an audit and see that, okay, if the biz and it's quite important to benchmark, right? When you benchmark, I'd suggest that you look at a brand that is close to where you are, right? And then also look at the brand that resembles what you want it to be like, because you're obviously going somewhere, right? You're growing. So if you benchmark from let's say a business that is around the corner, almost like a Me Too type of business, then there won't be any difference, right? But then if you're able to then say that, okay, we are here at the moment, but we are actually aiming to be the next Facebook, right? As an example, in terms of benchmarking, yes, you understand where you are now, but in terms of your strategy, it will help you grow into that brand that you see yourself as, whether it's like, um, let's say an MTN, for example, right? It's good to benchmark in that way because on social, online, you can do that, right? You can actually, because every brand is communicating on social media. So it's the playing field is so leveled. You have the potential to reach so many people because the platform is the same. It doesn't say because it's MTN, we'll give it more reach. No, it says this is the platform and that's the algorithm. So if you get to use social media in the sense of understanding that your potential can be at any level that you want it to be, then you start realizing that you can become the brand that you set out to be. Okay, so it's quite important to then see that, oh, okay, even if we're benchmarking at this level, right? Let's add the level that we want to be at, and then obviously understanding, adding the unique content into the mix so that you can stand out, right? Because it's not about being like the next brand. It's about being you as a brand and what do you stand for and how you communicate that. That will make you stand out. Okay. So then we go into the calendar, and with that part, like I said, we'll then cover most of it tomorrow, in a practical sense. And if yeah, let's actually cover it well with the strategy tomorrow so that you can apply it and then have the tools to then go ahead and populate it as you please moving forward, right? Okay, so that's step 5, because it's quite important to be consistent. Okay, so this part we also kind of covered yesterday, just to say that, what type of brand are you? Are you playful? Are you adventurous? Because it builds within the strategy, right? The persona, there's also so there's the customer persona we spoke about yesterday. Then there's also a brand persona. Okay, so the brand persona, we'll cover in more detail tomorrow, but then with the brand persona, it then sort of gives you a standpoint to say, are we the hero? We coming to save the day? Are we the innovators? We are bold enough to start something new? Are we just playful, and you can already start imagining the type of brands as you go, right? Because when you think playful, you probably think Fanta. When you think adventurous, probably think Jeep, so there's already a persona that you can um really benchmark these and look at the brands that already fit within that. So you have to then look at, okay, maybe we're also a mix of both, and it's okay to to understand that you can be bold and because being innovative is a bold move, right? So being able to define the type of brand persona becomes important. So we'll go through the different personas tomorrow, and then you can decide on how to position, because that will inform the plan. Okay. So ideally, brand aesthetics help your brand become recognizable, meaning someone can see your picture in the feed and instantly know that this is your brand, right? So we spoke about like not even having to have your logo, but because your brand colors are so strong, your identity is so strong, someone can immediately know, even if you just have a symbol there instead of your name on it, right? So we want to be at that level where you stop the scrolling because you're just that prominent online. Okay, so step 6, grow your Instagram follower base, right? So yes, it takes time and energy. Um, it's momentum, right? So you cannot buy followers, guys. Like, um, yeah, it's not sustainable because if you buy followers to this is obviously different from advertising, right? There are people that sell followers and think that because now you've got all these followers, like they are seriously hard to maintain. At some point, they might even disappear because this is when you see an account with let's say 300k people, but yet there's no engagement. And even at that level, they probably have to buy engagements because those aren't real followers. You want to build a real followership where people actually love what you do and they are about what you about. They relate and they are real because they turn into real customers. So social media is not about the numbers in that sense. It's about like who's behind the number, right? So if you've got your 300 people that when you post, they're sharing, that's more valuable than having 300K people that do nothing, right? When you post, or they like, but they don't even really like what you do because you've bought the likes. So, yeah, just be real. Be real on social media. Take like take the time, take the 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 energy that's needed to actually build because you're building a brand. It's not about like how many people follow you. Okay, so once your profile is maximized, obviously, filling in the bio becomes important. We spoke about this on a personal side, and also the LinkedIn business page. So it's the same with your Facebook and your LinkedIn, making sure your bio is filled well, because it is what people see and make a decision on in terms of following you, right? As much as it's also a very short space, like it's a very, very short um bio, like the characters are short, but they are a decision point, right? Because that's really the only place someone can understand before seeing your posts what you're about. So please fill that in well. And then once your profile is optimized, then obviously we can start posting, right? So it's a good idea to populate your feed with about 15 high quality posts before you really start engaging in the market. So if users visit your profile and it doesn't have any posts, then I mean, um, don't start inviting people, in other words, until you've got the content. So build the content, have it there, and then start engaging, right? So that you can then have a good base for people to understand what the business is about so that they can follow, right? Otherwise, if you engage people and you don't have the content, then they don't quite understand why they should follow. Okay, so as you follow accounts on Instagram, um, follow relatable ones, and you'll find that you'll attract the right accounts that will follow you back, right? So how to promote your business on IG. These are the 5 strategies that can be used. Um, so once you establish the follower base, right, then we can convert the followers into paying customers because you now have an audience to speak to sell to, essentially, right, to market to. So every time I say sell, I'm pretty much saying market, but sell is essentially why the business exists because sales are why you do business, right? So you know that every effort at the end of the day should translate into leads that then turn into sales. So that's why we do business because without sales, obviously you don't have a business, right? You just have a pretty page. Okay, so it has to turn into business. You have to be very intentional about that. Not that you should be having a post that says buy this all the time. That's not how you create and build your loyalty base. You should have a mix, right? So you can do promotions where you have specials like deals, discounts, right? Buy one, get one free, or BOGOs. Um, Other offers that are great to drive like first time sales. Okay, so in other words, you could say we're launching, and um, for the first 30 customers, they get, 30% off, for example. So that's what this means, the promotion. So you can think of different ways that you can entice that first initial sale or batch of sales, okay, from the followers. All right. So it's like an offer that they will receive if, and obviously mention a timeline. So it can be either um, a number where you say, okay, it's this many people or this many like giveaways or time, because then it says that, that this is not forever. Because if it's forever, then people will take their time to make a decision, or they might just not, right? So when they know that, oh, I only have, that's why sales still work. People go like buy when there's a sale because they feel, um, even though sometimes sales are not really sales in a sense, it could just be a red sign that says sales, but they just changed, like they just changed the sign. The price actually didn't really change, So you have to really understand that when it comes to what you offer, um, bring in a sense of time to it, or um, a sense of this is how much of it we can give, so that they can understand the value of it, right? So yeah, that becomes important when you're doing promotions. Contests, so we spoke about contests, being competitions, for example. So you can run, someone follows your account, posts or retweet, reposts, then they get a chance to maybe get a voucher or something, or the first repost, you know, those are type of contests you could do. So that just to encourage that engagement, right? And then reward it. Okay. Charity, I mean, this is also a great way because obviously as you give, you get, right? But you don't give to get at the end of the day. You give to give, right? And then you just end up getting. So this is something that Gap is quite an old brand, but um, this is just an example that they would help, you know, and that essentially it sort of drives a cause, right? It brings that emotional connection to say that you're not just selling, you actually care and you're giving back, so share those, and also think that way, right? Where you even if you're at a point where you're starting off, um, you should think of, okay, how do I impact my community? How do we give, right? And in our assignment, as we go into it, we'll actually possibly touch a bit on that, in the sense that we give first, right? Because people don't even know about the brand. So if they don't know about the brand, like how can you start to engage? So this will talk more on the charity side, because you will be giving first in your assignment before you can expect customers to to buy. Okay. um, Teasers, Instagram is a great platform to show the audience just a bit of what you do. Well, some of the new products that are coming up, or yeah, essentially you just want to, add here and there what it is that you offer. Okay, so obviously it's not the entire overall content, strategy to talk about your product only. Other brands do that. um, it's very much one way communication if you do that. But obviously, if you do it beautifully, then it can work, right? But just in between, give some form of either information or entertainment, or just something that is also not really related to your product, so that it's not just about selling. It's not like a sales platform. So live launches, you can showcase your product using Instagram Live. Drive users to purchase by including like a purchase link in the bio, um, or maybe the link to the site to see more. Maybe subscribe, right? Or follow the blog if you've got a blog on the site, right? Which is still advisable to have a blog. Okay, so now don't forget to leverage the link, right? So making sure that as you have your Facebook page, you've got a link to your site. So you have to have that. So that's one of the check marks that we'll be looking out for on your profile. So your profile has to be fully complete with your link, with your contact details linked as well, right? So ideally, you want to have your WhatsApp linked as well on your Facebook, right? And then, yeah, as well as your Instagram story highlights. So as you have your stories, once you start sharing your content, add to highlights so that they can stay there and people can obviously get to see what you've posted before, right? And then just to close it off, be sure to promote your Instagram on other channels, right? Include your social share buttons on your websites and other platforms. So it's can be the fastest way to actually just let people know. And simply asking just to say, please follow us on, right? Wherever it is that you go, whether you go to exhibitions, whether you are on other platforms, whether you're on WhatsApp, like put it on your status. Hey guys, please follow us on, right? And then you'll find that people just click and follow, right? So it's always just good to ask as a starting point. So that is it for our theory. I know it took like a whole hour for the theory, but it's quite important to go through this material. And we'll go through the strategies then tomorrow. So we are going to just take a few seconds and then we are going to go into Canva. Okay. Yes, we're going to get the presentation at the end of the sessions. All right, so you can definitely read it on your own success. Okay, so now we're about to go into Canva and create our reel. Okay, we'll just take a few seconds. Okay, so now we're going to create our reel. So now that we all have Canva, right? We going to type in reel. Okay. And I said it'd really be great to do this together, but essentially this will be the part of the assignment. So for your business and for other businesses as well. Okay, so as said, there are a lot of templates that you can use. So you really don't have to start from scratch. Okay. So we will see something like that can be good for showcasing. Okay, where you can showcase your products, right? If you like an explorative type of brand exploration, this is a nice feel, but obviously you will change the imagery. If you have a launch, right, product launch, this will be a nice template to use. Okay, so we'll pick one. um, and start from there. Just wanted to just see the different options. So for the ladies that have some beauty products, um, this one is a lovely one. So maybe we can just start there. Okay. So we have a couple of content strategies, right? Um, let me say ideas that we said we're going to get into. So I'm just going to grab one from the slide. Uh, let's see, go behind the scenes, share a personal story, tell people what you want to sell. You can share a joke, tell people to sign up or give away a coupon. So let's see. Or we can share a quick tip. I think let's share a quick tip, right? Because it's always great to give, as I've said. So let's close our session from yesterday. Um, always retitle, rename. Okay, so we've got just going to rename so the business name and what it is. Okay, so let's see, quick tips, and then just going to shorten that. It actually will just say meta reel because it will go from meta from Insta to Facebook or vice versa. Okay, so just to play it again and see how it is, and then how it can relate to the brand. So what's great about um, Canva is that we actually have AI incorporated in it already. So we don't have to start from scratch again when it comes to the content. So if you thinking, what is it that I can actually say, then we can use this button over here called Magic Write. Okay, so what I'll do first is just maybe give it an idea. Okay, just to say, okay, this is what we want to talk about. So let's say tech tip, maybe top tech tip, right? Let's see what it comes up with. So we've got magic write. You able to continue the writing, shorten the writing, rewrite, make it more fun, make it formal, put some fairy dust. When you put some fairy dust, it just really like turns into like a novel story, like fiction. So I would not recommend that. Change, the tone. So there's a lot that you can do with the text, right? With AI. So let's see what happens when we rewrite. Essential technology tip. So this is if we had to rewrite the text. Okay. So let's see if we had to expand on it. Okay. So this is a tip. Keep your software updated. Regular updates not only introduce new features, but also patch security vulnerabilities. Now, this is a very, very long text, right? It's great for a caption, but it's too much for a reel, okay? But at the same time, it's very helpful because now all we did was say top tech tip, and now we know that, oh, okay, as one of the top tips that we can provide in the tech space is to update your software. Okay, and then let's communicate why. So obviously we can use this text, and you can also just copy the text over here. And then what we'll do is just add it as a note. Okay, we've got our notes over here. So we can open up the notes and then just add the content from here. Okay. And then you see what text we can use from there, right? So keep your software up to date, so regular updates. So this was one of the very important and really emphasized points that Mr. Togozani made, right, about websites. That it has to be maintained regularly. Uh, Actually, more advised would be like weekly. Okay, so maybe let's turn this into that type of post, saying that to protect your enabling automatic updates can save you time and protect your digital life, right? Allowing you to focus on more important tasks without worrying about threats. So, so what we want to do is obviously have a catchy um, headline, right? So let's turn that into a catchy headline to say, keep your security, or let's see, keep your site updated weekly. Okay, because someone might not know how often to actually update, right? So what we can then do is say why keeping your site updated weekly is important. Okay. I just want to make some space there. Just close. Okay, just we don't need that. It's not really a quote. Okay, so why keeping your site updated weekly is important. Everyone knows NB is important. Okay, then we look at the font. Does the font really speak to us? This is a really cool font, so we'll keep it, and then just maybe increase the spacing. Let's see. Okay, that's much better. Um, okay, so what we'll do is add some text, right? Just to make it more, just to give more context to why, because now we're saying why keeping your site updated weekly is important. I just want to fix that too because the spacing there is not okay. Maybe just to reduce the size a bit there. Okay. Okay. Um, so before that, this picture, I must say, this video is it has to obviously speak to tech. So let's deal with that first, and then we'll come back to the text. Um, so I'm just gonna search for um, let's see what comes up. Website. Let's see the type of videos that come up. So the suggestion I'd make is do your best to keep your imagery human like, right? So it's all obviously great to incorporate icons and, for example, like wording type of imagery, right? But incorporate it instead of actually using it alone because people connect with people. So you want to sort of see a person, right? In order for you to understand that this is relatable, unlike just keeping a robot there. Okay, so let's see. This one is also a lovely one. Okay, let's see something more relatable. Okay, okay, so this is a school kid. So if we were probably um communicating to this to you've got a school project, so perhaps this could relate to that. So what I've just done there is just replace the background, right? So replace the image. So let's just play that again. Let's see, keep your, okay, so now we've got that in relation to the school project as an example. So this text, we can improve, right? So maybe what we can do is make it sort of like typewrite, right? So people can sort of read along with it. So you can select that and then change the speed. It can be very slow or it can be very fast. So let's make it fast. It can be word by word or it can be character based. So we'll just keep it this way. Okay, now we can come back to our text, just so we have some context, right, that we can give. Now, with the reel, as you can see, we've got pages that we can create. So I would suggest that we expand. Okay, so we can transition into different communicated in one post though, right? So I just want to duplicate that. So I'm just using shortcuts. You can also click on, just please hold. Okay, so you can also click on this, right, where you've got your options, page, duplicate page, right? So as you can see, Control D does that. So I hope you don't mind. We actually, I'm doing this in such a way that like if someone doesn't know and they don't use Canva, then they know, right? There's certain parts that you can do. So those that are using Canva, please bear with us. Okay, so now just coming back to the notes, let's see what we can take from here. So what we'll do is take this text again, put it here, right? So now we're incorporating Canva and AI. Come back to Magic Write and shorten this text. Okay, so let's see. Let's replace. Okay, so this text is still not short, it's quite long. So we can come back again and shorten it. Okay, one sentence. Now we've got one sentence, so that's short. So let's rather use this in another slide. Okay, so we'll take this off. I'm just going to go back to the first slide. So we want to wrap this up so we can get to our assignment. So I'm going to be just a little quick on it. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to expand that. Okay. So please remember to use your brand in every slide so people can see that it's coming from you at every single frame, like every single point. So before continuing, I just want to drop the logo just so we always have it as we transition. Go with orange again. Although this picture has some yellow, so maybe let's blend in with it. All right, so sure you'll have different versions of your logo that you can use throughout. Okay, so make it small. It's not about it being so prominent. It just has to be visible. Okay, so next slide, we're taking that out. Now we can go back and see what other relevant video content that we can use, right? We want to be inclusive, so obviously it would be advisable to, have different types of people in your post so that it doesn't feel like, you are speaking to a specific race, right? This is a lovely background type of video. Let's see if we can make it more of a background type of video. So you can change the opacity again. It takes away the darkness. So let's see. So just want to change the font here. So what you can do is this feature allows you to either make the text, caps or not, if it does come out like that. Okay, so now that it's like this, it really looks good because it looks like code. And it fits well with the brand, right? If we talking about security. Okay, so this is another transition that we want to use just so it feels like code again, right? This is also good if we had to use it this way, but let's keep it code-like so it feels like it's code. Okay, so in this sense, the character is a bit too much, so let's rather put words, and then maybe make it a little faster because people have only that much of an attention span, right? So you don't want them to feel like they have to wait to read, but you also want to put emphasis in, like, you want to make sure your content, has effort in it, right? You've shown that there's effort in it. So I just want to check if we're all good here with our spacing. Okay. So this type of content would be great as a caption. Okay, so you can actually take this and put it as a caption. I'm gonna drop the logo again. So when you copy and paste, it goes. So we'll just copy that, paste it there. Okay, so now we want to see how this looks, right? Because we need to know that it actually is communicating visually with what we've chosen, what we want to say. Okay, it looks like I've copied the whole slide, which is fine. We can end with that. Okay, please bear with me. Okay, so that. Okay, so now let's see how it looks so far. Okay, I'm gonna play it full screen. So like keeping it site updated weekly is important. Dot dot dot. Okay, that is too long, right? Because it takes a few seconds just to read that. So we're going to adjust. Let's make it 6 seconds and see how that flows. Okay, while keeping your site updated weekly is important, it should then transition. Okay, so to add a transition, you see, you just go in between those two, right, pages, and then we add a transition. So it can be smooth, right? So there are different ways in which we can transition. Matching and moving is a lovely one. That's if, you've got a lot of elements that, especially with the logo, if it's moving around, then you can use match and move. We can use dissolve, we can use circle, can swipe. So maybe let's see how the flow is. This is a lovely one. So we can do the flow, right? Let's see the side. Okay, let's keep it that side. Okay, so we're good. We can create that transition. I still feel like it's a bit long to read that for. Maybe we should make it like 4.5 seconds because the text is very short. Okay, let's see how that goes. At the end of the day, we want to keep this like 30 seconds, right? So we're keeping your site updated weekly is important. And then now we can read that. So so we've got a good transition between. We have some good text. We have one sentence. It should be on a typewriter, okay, and it transitions. Maybe it. Okay, so we're not going to be so particular about it right now, but you get the idea of creating a reel, right? It's also quite important to then have voice. So in this session, we won't go into voice, like as in having a voice over, right? Because it helps when someone is reading this. So I'd suggest that you look into that in terms of having a voice over to read out, right? But to make it more interesting, we can add audio in a sense of music. Okay, so I'm just going to go into elements and then search for music. Okay, so we can search for, let's see what comes up. Okay, this one is very short, so we won't go there. So here, this one sounds right. Okay, so you'll essentially go through this, right? And then select the type of music that goes with the post. So for the sake of the session, I'll just choose this, okay? Um, but obviously it has to go right with the post. So choose what you want. What you can do is also edit the the sound and how it comes in. Okay, so what we can do is adjust it a bit, right? And then also fade it in and out. So you can choose where it starts. You can essentially shorten it if you want to, right? And then you can split. Okay, so there's a lot that you can do to edit. And then from there, we can create our reel. So when you're done with your reel, download it. Right? Obviously, you'll take more time to refine it. I'd suggest you have an outro. So you've got your intro, your body, right? Which you can also use as a caption. Have your outro, right? That has a call to action where it has your website address. Okay. So once again, you always have to have a point where people know where to find you. Okay, so you can have a website address or you can have your handle, depending on how you want to do it. Just want to get that done. Okay. Just to show you, I'll just keep it that way for now. But please always have a call to action at the end so people can know what to do and how to follow you. And even if they share the content, they know that they can always come back and find the content on your page. Okay, so once again, it becomes very important to use your brand. So always use your own fonts as you select. Okay, and then you good to go. Okay, so then you'll obviously download like we did yesterday and then save it and upload. So this will also be part of the assignment, which I now want us to get into in terms of understanding how it fits into everything that we're doing, right? So your assignment starts today. Just going to share that. So your assignment starts today, right? The whole purpose of your assignment is to engage with your market, start understanding who to assist, right? Um, Immediately from your environment. So, in other words, you will physically be going to a business, right, around the corner and starting from there. Okay, so this will be shared with you. I just want you to understand as we go through it. So obviously, the internet is a vital platform, right, for communication. And social media is a very um, key component. Okay, so meaning every business should really be on there. So what we want to do is make sure that even the business around the corner is online, right? So as social media agents, as marketing agencies and entities, our job is to essentially connect brands with customers, right? So this is coming from that point to say, how do we serve the market? Okay, so this is a group. So you'll do this as your learning cluster, okay, as a group, where you'll obviously discuss it in terms of how you go about it. We'll just have to create a video for those who may not know how to create a form, a Google form. But if you do in your own groups, then please go ahead and start. So what you will need to submit is your Google form, okay, as well as the Canva designs, right? So what the assignment is a questionnaire where you ask the businesses in your community, right, who are not yet optimizing social media for business, okay? So you ask them if they're using social media, if they're on, which platform they're on, right? So this is the script. Okay, so you can just let them know we're conducting research to try to just determine the needs in the community, right? So they can understand where you're coming from, because obviously this will be new to them. No one is exactly coming and asking them these questions. So give them context. Um, I'm going to just edit this and then share it with you. Okay, so note that if the person says yes, they happy to participate, then these are the questions that will be on the Google form. So meaning the first part would be to create the Google form, which will look like this. Okay, so your Google form will then have the questions in this form. I just want to go to the questions where you'll have your header. Please create a lovely one with your company name and logo, right? And then obviously you'll use your devices to capture. So you will then enter the heading, okay, the description, with your contact details and your website so people know and can see it from the onset, right? So these are the questions: the business name, email, the physical address, the phone number, what products and services do they offer, right? They can just list. So you can type in as they tell you, what are the top three services? Would they want marketing? Yes, no, they're fine. Okay. If it's a yes, you want to understand if they're willing to pay for the service, right? So you can know that these are people that would want to pay, and then you know essentially the market that you're speaking to. Okay, and then you list the services. So this particular way of creating the form is a checkbox where they're able to tick and say, yes, I want cell phone repairs, or I want this, I want digital marketing, whatever it is that you offer, you can enter it in here, right? And then the form then at the end of it looks like this when you've done um, filling it in, right? And then essentially uh, we will then have a link to this form so that we can then see the responses, which will come in this form. Okay, so once you're done, you'll be able to see how many actually would want the service. you'd see how much they're willing to pay for it. You'll be able to see which products they're interested in, and that will be a great way for you to know what your market looks like, meaning the potential customers in which you can service. So at the end of the day, today you would have to create the form, and then you can start with your questionnaire this afternoon, and you've got tomorrow and the rest of the weekend to collect from 30 businesses. Okay, so once you're done with that, please can you then fill in on this sheet, on this document, the number that was interviewed. We'll get to know because some of them may be interviewed at the same time, maybe not be on the Google form. So just say how many were engaged. Then we know the total as well, how much can be spent on the services that you offer. Okay, and then the owners that are interested. So then we get to know how many customers we potentially have, right? So that would be your submission, and in this sense, you've got until the 30th to submit, right? So those that are interested, we're going to create posts for them so that they can obviously see what you can do, right? So please read through this section very carefully. So if there are any questions, then we'll also address them tomorrow. And you've got the rest of the weekend to get it done. But essentially, those that have responded yes, that's where you can put your effort into creating a post for them. And then obviously, if they already have a social media um, account, right, then they can use that. They can also use the reel to share it on their WhatsApp as a story status. So this is a great way for them to then understand that this is what you can offer to them. So at the bottom there, you'll see some resources. This is just something great for you to watch to get a context, the context of response marketing, because essentially you're responding to the market needs, and that's why you have the survey. So that's it for our session today, and this will be shared to you so you can start this afternoon. I trust that everyone is all good and understands what they have to do. This is a group activity, and each individual has to participate, right? So each individual has to also go out. You all have the same, you will all have the same form in your group, right? And then each of you will have the link so that you able to collect the information. So knowing that there's, let's say, 12 of you, if you look at approaching 5 businesses around your area, whether it's a hair salon, nail salon, someone that's cleaning shoes, someone that's selling vegetables, or has a shop around the corner, like any business that's in your area, within your reach, that's who you go and capture. And then you'll easily get to 30 by the end of the weekend when you work as a group. So the group is 30 for all of you together. So meaning you can go out and find the first 5 as an individual, right? So I believe you can do it, young B. Yeah, you can do it. Really, really believe you can do it. But in terms of creating the social media posts, obviously that's going to take more time. So the survey is the one that you have to get done by the end of the week. Okay. And then that is what's needed for submission. We'll add a new date here for your links just to give you enough time, right? So that you know you can practice your reels and your posts for those that want to obviously refine that process, and it's understandable. And then we can have them reviewed later. Okay. Okay, so thank you very much for this session. We'll communicate, please do communicate with your cluster managers, and we will then discuss in terms of how you're managing with the timelines, and then take it from there. Okay. All right. Thank you, and have a wonderful day further.